What's up, anime fans? It's your anime boys. It's Jake and Casey. How you guys doing? Good. We're good too. We're trying to mix things up with a new opening because we never had one for this. So we're trying something new. I got Jake, we got Jake dying. This is great. So we watched Cowboy Bebop. Buddy, take it away.
Sure. Oh man, this is one of those that we knew before we did this episode, or even drew the name of this episode, that we loved this show. But it's always great to do a rewatch. I was excited. Cowboy Bebop was created by Hajime Yadati. Don't know how to say that. Um, Opening song is Tank by Seatbelts, and the closer is.
Real folk blues. I don't know who sang it though.
Hmm, that's all right. For the cast, Spike is voiced by Koichi Yamadera and Steve Bloom. Jet by Unsho Ishizuka and Bo Billingsley. Faye by Megumi Hayashibara and Wendy Lee. And Ed by Aoi Tada and Melissa Fawn. If I butchered any of those, I apologize.
Now, when you watched it this time, did you watch the sub or did you watch the dub?
Sub baby.
Okay, see, this is one where I was like, it could have gone either way.
Well, the first time I watched it, it was the
Yeah.
dub. Yeah. Um, I've got two fun facts. So the first one, every episode title refers to a song title, album title, or genre of music. And all of Spike's fights feature the use of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do style of fighting.
Nice. I did not know that that was the Spike's fighting style.
Yeah, and I should have wrote this down, but I remember seeing, fuck, I forget which episode it is, but the fight is like takes a lot from that movie where Bruce Lee fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
I know what you're talking about. It'd be the tower. It's like something tower, right?
yeah, something like that. But like a lot of that fight scene is just that fight scene.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
pretty sweet.
yeah. But yeah, if you don't have anything to add, Casey, we can get right into the episodes.
Oh, what was your first? Because I think I know you already mentioned, but what was your first like introduction with this show? Because like you didn't you know you did you watch it on Adult Swim or did you watch it prior to being on Adult Swim or Toonami or anything like that?
My first introduction to this show was at your house. We were upstairs. I don't even know what you call that room. There were some
The,
couches and a chair in there,
yeah, we always call it the playroom.
the playroom, and you had a bunch of just cool ass anime posters. Well, just like posters in general up on the wall. Um, but one of them was a Bebop poster, I think.
There's two.
Okay. And it's like, dang, that looks pretty cool. I know that we at some point we watched an episode. I don't know
Mhm.
that it was necessarily the first episode. Um, but then, over the last several years since then, I've watched the show twice, maybe three times.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember for me, I the first time I watched it, so there's a show that we'll get to sooner or later called Outlaw Star, and that was on Toonami first, and we got DVDs of that, and that had a special feature where it was like shows that are similar because in outer space, and one of them was Cowboy Bebop, and so then we tried Cowboy Bebop, and it's nothing like Outlaw Star. And so like at first I was like, I don't know about this. It gets too serious, and then I watched it when it was on Adult Swim. I'm like, no, actually, this is just freaking awesome. I love this. This is so cool. And then my opinion has stayed the same ever since.
Yep. was that one that like the whole family was into?
What Outlaw Star or Cowboy
No,
Bebop?
Bebop.
Yeah, Liz was probably the biggest into it, and then like Liz and Nick both were really into it. Like I said, probably Liz was because I remember it was around the time where like you couldn't get DVDs of them very cheap. Like, you could get like a couple episodes here and there at like Sam Goody for like way too expensive. And we found out you could buy bootlegs on eBay, and she ended up getting the whole series off of eBay, you know, for like 20 bucks.
Yeah, a
So,
steal.
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get into the episodes here. As always, we watch the first six. The first one's called Asteroid Blues. And Spike and his partner Jet Black head to an asteroid colony on their ship, which is called the Bebop, to track down a bounty. Uh, his name's Asimov. They call him the Red Eye Coyote, which, let's be real, that's a dope ass name.
Hmm.
Um, and Asimov is wanted for killing members of his own gang and stealing a very dangerous drug that they call Bloody Eye. So yeah, man, and feel free to
Yep.
chime in anytime, man.
Well, it started off pretty cool. Like not cool, but like it starts off like a really good way because it like shows just like, oh yeah, our main characters are pretty much broke. Like yeah, it does a really good job of like introducing the like who these characters are pretty early on, and then it shows like the drug deal goes south, and then all that stuff, and like Spike doesn't really want to go after this guy because he keeps calling him a small fry and all that, but like Jet's like, we need money because we have to eat. And Spike's like, I want to eat, but I want a bigger fish than this, like it's like a really, goofy kind of thought process. But yeah, I mean, we get to see like I wrote down the animation is just so good because it's like they meet that pregnant lady who, may or may not actually be pregnant. And it's just like, yeah, this is amazing. Like everything looks good. Spike steals her glizzy and he put it all in his mouth.
Hell yeah.
And then the voice acting is really, really good too. And he runs into the red-eyed guy at that point, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a small fry," and he chokes him out. And though we got the old guys playing cards, they show up a couple different times, and I was like, "Oh, these guys are pretty great."
Hmm.
But yeah, they get a little bit of a fight, which was solid, and then the ending's pretty sad, and they also don't make any money.
Yeah, I'll say this just in general of the show. It's sad. There's
Yeah,
not like a lot of feel good moments. It's just like this is life, man. Sometimes
yeah,
there's no happy ending.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I Spike is so fucking cool.
He is. Though as I'm becoming an old man, I'm more like I relate to Jet more.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because I was watching this, I'm like, no, Jet's right a lot of the time. Spike's cooler, but Jet's right.
Hmm. But gosh, I mean, when we were watching this earlier in life, it's all Spike.
Oh
Spike's the
yeah.
man. He's so
Yeah.
cool in his suit and his cigarette.
Yeah. But like I was saying, this episode does such a good job of establishing who Spike is and who Jet is, and that stays consistent throughout the series. And what do you think of the real folk blues and Tank? Both bangers if I've ever heard one.
Absolutely. The just all the music in the show in general, I think, is really good.
Yeah. Even though you did send me that stupid ass TikTok that kind of like every time I hear Tank now, I just think of that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Look, man, it's one of those things where if I gotta hear it, you gotta hear
This is more of a visual one.
it. Look, you've gotten me on a
Yeah,
couple of
I know.
Godzilla related ones. All right. Yeah, anything else about the first episode?
No, just how do they eat? Do they end up getting a secondary job that's not bounty hunting because they're not good at it?
Oh gosh, yeah, I guess I should say how the first one ends. So like Asimov and his lady, there's like a ship chase, and Spike's chasing him in his own ship, and Asimov's doing the bloody-eyed drug, rushing towards a police blockade, and the lady realizes that they're not going to get away with it, so she shoots Asimov before Spike catches him, and and all the police ships just unload on their ship, and
Yeah.
Spike's like, okay, guess I gotta drive away from here. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay, then episode two, it starts with I didn't have the name for that one.
It's
Um,
a Stray Dog Strut.
oh, Stray Dog Strut.
He
I
almost said
Whoa.
slut.
But yeah, no, so it starts off with this guy, and like this is badass dude beating people up in the bathroom. He's a wanted man. He had plastic surgery. Apparently, we can't assume his race because he started off white and then he became black. Um, he gets his briefcase stolen, and this is the introduction to a certain corgi dog named Ein. Because there's a dog in the briefcase. And then they were like, this is one of the things that made me laugh because this you're someone who has owned a corgi. They're like, oh, I can give you two Woolongs for a corgi. No one wants these. Like, the good old days.
I mean, gosh, I can say with full certainty that corgis are rascally dogs, and
Mm-hmm.
Ein is no different.
Yep. Super smart though.
They
This
are.
this Ein, the one I had was very stupid. It's a real asshole.
Yeah, he wasn't the most friendly of
Yeah.
dogs.
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's one part where Spike goes, "I hate kids and pets. They're all a real pain in the butt." Which I'm like, I agree, except for the pets part. Except for the pets part, Hallie. I know you're
I
listening.
I mean, we love them, but they can be a pain
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yep.
But because like the whole thing is like catching Ein, who keeps getting away, but I know Jet puts a collar, like a tracking collar on it at some point so that they can find that dude again. At least that happens, right? I'm not
I
crazy.
don't remember that. I don't have anything written about that one in this, but that doesn't mean anything. There's a part where the scientists use a dog whistle to
Because
draw out all of the dogs in town, and Ein was getting upset about that.
okay. Well, I thought they were setting it up to where that guy would steal Ein back, but then they would go find him
Oh,
because
okay.
of the tracker. But
I don't remember that.
okay. Anyway, um, let's see.
The Hakeem dude sprays Ein with sleep spray, and
Yeah.
then he falls off the side of a bridge, or it was something, and then Spike catches him like on top of his ship, but it's like, man, that'd probably kill him.
Yeah, you would think so. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, then we find out that Ein has like a genetically enhanced mind or
Hmm.
intellect, I guess. So uh Jet decides that they're gonna bring the dog, which he then names Ein, to live on the Bebop, um, which Spike is not happy about.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, they didn't get their bounty this time either, so they still have no money.
Yep, for sure. It's a fun episode though.
Yeah.
Like you're watching it at first, and you're like, man, I hope there's no like animal cruelty because that does tend to happen. Um,
Then you see it's a corgi, and then you're like, go ahead.
all
Oh,
right. Sorry, I
you
interrupted
good.
you.
I was gonna say the same exact thing.
Episode 3 is titled Honky Tonk Women. And yeah, the Bebop goes to a space station casino because they need to try and make some money. So
Hmm.
why not gamble money you don't have to make money?
Hell yeah.
Um,
Well, it starts also with Faye. We meet Faye for the first time. And it's like, if there's a girl animated like that, she's got a 100% chance of stealing your guy or your girl. And she's like, there's people out to get her. And like they have a fucking minigun, which I was like, this is a bit overkill. And they basically tell her like, you're working for us now. You were frozen in time and you're basically Captain America, and now you're working for us. And then we find out in this episode that Spike can eat things and spit them back up like he does it with a cigarette, and we see him do it something else later on. And we see my old guys again. They pop back up,
yep. Where else would they be but the space casino?
right?
Um, yeah, there's a point where Spike's told not to bring too much attention to himself by winning too much. Uh, but of course that goes to shit because he accidentally mixes up two poker chips. Um,
Well,
one's
because
got
because what was supposed to happen was is working a table and she can cheat really well at poker, and she's supposed to take everything from this person. And the last chip, the person's supposed to just give her a tip, and that's the chip she needs. And then they were like, they didn't give her a picture of who it was, so she assumed it was Spike. And then when Spike had his last chip, he's just like, "Okay, I'm gonna keep it," and he walked away. And then she got mad about it.
yeah. Um, anyway, yes. So Faye, gets tangled up with Jet, and Spike, but she escapes. Because I think like Ein is watching her or something
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
he's he's trying to. It
Yeah.
didn't really work out for him though.
And then let's see. Sorry, I told Casey before we recorded, my notes got deleted, so I'm
Yeah.
scrambling a little
So
bit.
yeah, because because Spike ends up with the chip that they wanted, and they were gonna do the handoff, and they had like all the money, and then after Faye breaks out, she swoops in with her chip, takes the suitcase, and flies off. And then I'm like, how do these guys make a living? Because they don't have any money. Because like when they were leaving with the Jets winnings, they got knocked out,
Yeah,
so they get betrayed by the bad guys because of course they do, and they end up beating them, and then they have the one poker chip left, and they're like, well, it's a useless poker chip now, so let's just play it. And that's how it ended.
yeah. Which is a pretty cool ending,
Yep.
all things considered.
Yeah, it's still you're still just left going like, how are they alive? How have they not ate Ein yet? All right, episode 4. I didn't write this title down, but
Gateway Shuffle.
Gateway Truffle Shuffle. And it starts like with Faye, is she's just stuck in space, and then they find a lady with a $25 million or Wulong bounty on her head. Nothing could go wrong. It's gonna work out perfectly. Um, Faye tries to save someone. He had a box. He said, "Don't open it." What's she do, Jake?
Opens it.
Exactly. She gets picked up by the Bebop, and then the lady with the $25 million bounty on her head. Her name, she's called Mom, and she gets her bounty dropped. She's doing some bad shit, and then again, no reward.
I'd like to point out that this group of eco-terrorists, as they're called, their biological weapon is called monkey business because
Yeah.
it's a virus that can turn humans into monkeys, and that why
So
not, right?
it's just like, boy, you guys are stealing plans from Grodd, and I love it.
Give me that crossover.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, episode 5, probably the best episode.
Oh, yeah, because of who's introduced this episode.
Yeah. I don't have like I didn't write down the name for this one either. I only wrote
The
down the name for two of
Ballad
them.
of Fallen Angels.
There we go. So it starts with these crime bosses signing a treaty, and then literally all of them get killed. Like at first, like they see the ones get killed, and the other one gets murdered too, and it's by Vicious. He has a cool he is just the epitome of like cool anime bad guy aesthetic. Like he's got like a fucking raven, a sword, long white hair, and wears all black. It's like, yeah, this aesthetic is awesome. I love it.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, he's the dead mob boss has got like a bounty on his head, and it's pretty good. Jet doesn't like this. And then like him and Spike have some words. They talk some shit back and forth. They kind of are like old married couple I wrote down. Um the mob boss's guy's name is Mao Yenrai, and Faye's like, oh, this guy, I'm gonna get him. Even though like Jet, like she could have or like clearly overheard Jet and Spike discussing how it's clearly a trap, and she's like, I'm gonna go do this, and she puts on a dress, and again, 100% chance of stealing your guy. And so she walks in, and they're are basically like, we're waiting on you. And then it cuts to Jet investigating stuff. He's good at encryptions. Turns out if I remember right, he wasn't that good at encryptions. Ein was. And Ein was able to kind of figure stuff out. But the bad guys are waiting for Faye, and then Spike goes to meet an old friend of his who thought that he was dead. And then it cuts back to, like it kind of explains like Mao and Spike, they had a good friendship, all that stuff. And then like basically Spike's, you know, tells this lady, he was like, hey, which was also like a really funny scene when she first pops up because these two kids are looking at the nudie mags, and then they like start putting under their shirt, and she's like, hey, don't you even try it. And then like they run off, and then she catches both of them. It's
Yeah.
pretty great. Um, so yeah, like basically she kind of tells him like, yeah, Vicious murdered him. You know, so like Spike's loading up his weapons, Faye's in danger. Spike is just the fucking coolest though.
Mm-hmm.
And then my quote I've written down from this episode, but I'll save that for later. Um, yeah, then like there's one part I get like where since they had Faye as a hostage, they're like really trying to play up like, oh, you better not do this, we'll kill her. And then like he just shoots the guy that had like right in the head. It's like you really thought that he liked Faye more than he really did. And then like I was like, damn, Faye in that dress did things to me as a kid.
Still does today.
um Spike got shot up a lot, and while he's getting shot, like Jet's just cutting his bonsai tree, and he like fucking cuts too close, and he's like, oh, fucking it, or I'm murdering it, I think is what he said. Um, we get more flashbacks, and then it ends with Faye singing to Spike while he has a flashback, and then he tells her singing's off key, and that's kind of how it ends. Anything you want to add to that? And what do you think of this episode and all that type of stuff?
Nah, it's just a great episode, man. Vicious is so fucking cool, as you've already said. And the end, you think it's kind of a sweet moment, but Spike really knows how to ruin a sweet moment.
Yep. And then
Um,
episode 6, you got the title for that.
yep. Sympathy for the Devil.
This episode's pretty cool too. Yeah, it's this is one thing I wrote down that Jet said. Jet was like, I've loved blues all my life. I came out as a baby hipster, which is, like it sounds like a terrible Disney show. But no, there's another bounty hunter, or they first have like this bounty, and the bounty's following the kid and this this other person that's like basically like old as shit. That's the kid's dad, and he's following him. And then that guy their bounty gets killed by the kid and the old man. He says some cryptic shit to Spike before he dies. Spike's stalking the kid. They find out that the kid is actually the one that doesn't age, and he just keeps getting these new dads basically. And then the way Zebra, like, because the person they're after, his name was Zebra, and then the person the kid had as his in quotes dad is named Giraffe. And like they kind of, I was like, are they? Because like it kind of seemed like they were more than just friends. The way that Zebra was talking about him.
Right.
But yeah, Spike is going after the kid hard. Spike and the kid have a shootout. Spike wins, and it was with a special bullet that could then turn him, you know, dead, basically.
Breaks the curse.
Yeah. But this was another good episode. Lots of music in it. Um, Liked it.
Yeah, I mean it continues that sort of sad, depressing endings because Spike's like, well, I know what'll break this curse. Shooting this kid right between the eyes.
Exactly. That ends
But
most curses. Fun fact.
yeah, it does. But yeah, man, it's just a good fucking show in
It really
general.
is. All right, man. You want to get to our awards?
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna be honest, the animation, it's just hit pause anywhere and it's like that scene right there. It's all
Yeah.
fucking good. I guess I don't know. I guess the first like true fight scene in the first episode where you really get a feel of what the series is about might be it for me for these first 6 episodes. It's just like, oh shit, that's what this is.
Yeah. Like the first time I wrote in the notes and I did emojis for this, but like the first time we see Spike's spaceship, I put a chef and I put a kissing emoji because it's
Hmm.
so good. But then like episode 5 and this is just like the one of the coolest images was when Vicious has got the sword and Spike's got the gun and they're like, facing off. I'm like, awesome. Like the big church stained glass behind him looks so damn cool. So that was my
Yep.
choice for the best animation.
Yeah.
And
Um, Unfortunately, my notes were erased. I don't know what I had for memorable line.
all right,
So go ahead.
my memorable line, it was again that same episode, but Vicious goes, "Are you pleading for your life?" And then Spike responds, "Hardly. Begging doesn't work on you, remember? Even if it's coming from a man who took you in and made you what you are. Perhaps, but he was a beast who lost his fangs. That's why he had to die, Spike, and that's why you have to die." I'm like, so fucking cool.
Yeah, pretty cold.
And what are our other awards? I gotta
Who are
pull
we
up.
shipping?
So I'm gonna say Jet and Spike.
I'm just glad you didn't say Ein.
I was thinking it. What about you?
Faye and me. I'm
Nice.
just kidding. It's Faye and Spike. Did it age well?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
100%. Yep. You could watch this at any time and think, damn, that's a good looking show. And
And
then best character.
Spike.
Yep.
It's just
It's
that's he's one of the best characters in anime.
yeah. I mean, we love Jet too. And Faye. They're all cool, but Spike's the coolest.
Yeah. And what's your rating for it? I think we do it out of 5, don't we?
Yeah, who fucking knows? It's a 5 out of 5.
Yep. 5 out of 5 for me too. I'm gonna put it. I've been thinking about this since I watched it. I'm gonna put it still at number two, right underneath Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay. It does take the number one spot for me.
Nice. Like I can say this is better than Yu Yu Hakusho because I do think it is, but I just like Yu Yu Hakusho more.
Yeah, that's fine. It's one of those things where it's like, out of all these shows, yeah, I fucking love Demon Slayer. But if I really think about what each show means, it's like, Bebop, it's just on a different level, I think. It's
Hmm.
just on a different level. Uh, I think it means something different when you're younger, and it's still a good thing. But then, like with most stuff, when you get older and go back for a rewatch, it means something different than when you were younger, and it's still just as fucking good.
Yeah.
So, it's like I don't know that I'll feel that way about some of these other shows, but anytime I watch Bebop, it's fucking great. It's 5 out of 5.
Yep. All right, man. So for our next episode, oh wait, we'll do.
Next time on Anime Boys.
Give me a number between 1 and 26.
14.
All right. I'll do. Okay, so Samurai Champloo is next.
One of
Damn,
my favorites.
we're going back to back with this guy.
Yeah. I better write that down or I'm gonna
Yeah.
forget. Remind me if you've seen that one yet.
I've seen it a long time ago and I couldn't get into it at the time, so we'll see how I feel about it this time around.
Nice.
But thanks our animals fans.
Ugh.
Yeah, we're working on stuff.
Yeah, we're still workshopping 12 episodes into this series. Oh gosh. But we hope you guys enjoyed. If you've seen this show, please let us know in the comments what you thought of it.
For sure.
Let us know if you're a fellow Bebop enjoyer.
And did you watch it when it, originally aired on Toonami or anything like that, or did you just sort of like, no, this is just when it got on streamers?
Or
Because
maybe you've
I'm,
only seen the live action Netflix
yeah, maybe
adaptation.
you're like, this is where it's at. This is where it peaked.
All right. Well, I guess thanks for listening.
Yeah,
We'll
we
catch
will
you on the next one.
see. We'll animate it up with you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Anime boys. Anime, anime boys.